Let me not itch my nose on the live stream as we're getting started. There it is. We are live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our second iteration of Post-Tropics Topics with your host, Weather Center Nazario. This is Weather Center Live. We are going to be covering a couple different topics tonight to include the potential for some flooding in the southeast, as well as our next major severe weather outbreak, to include the very, very aggressive nor'easter that's forecast to take place over the mid-Atlantic and northeastern coastline as of December 4th through December 6th. So we'll go ahead and get started here momentarily. We'll let a few more folks join in the chat. See if we can get a better turnout tonight since we are fresh back in business Monday the 27th, 2023. It is 8:01. We'll start saying hello to a few folks. Let's see, who do we have in here? Who do we have? Miss Leah, good evening. Ethan's Life, welcome in. Good to see y'all back again. Nomad Cat 4, hello there. How close are we? Welcome in. Carmen, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Zenful, thank you for joining us this evening. It's a pleasure to see you. Ooh, I'm thirsty this evening, so forgive me if you see me gulping away at water from time to time. I can't help it. Hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving. You know, Nomad Cat 4, I did. I really did, actually, and I wish it was much longer, to tell you the truth. It was so nice to see a bunch of my family members do a little bit of traveling up towards the Deltona area, the DeBerry area of Florida, and then out to St. Petersburg to the Tropicana Stadium where they had a huge Christmas light ordeal going on. It was phenomenal. It was beautiful. And like I said, I wish that it wasn't so short-lived. I can't wait to see what Christmas and New Year's has in store for a lot of us, especially since it is on the horizon. We are 27 days away from Christmas Eve and Christmas Day for that matter. And you know what else we are close to? We are closing in on? We are officially, let's see, we can say the 27th has now come and gone because it's 8 p.m., 28, 29, and 30. We are 3 days on Michael Myers' hand. We are 3 days away from the end of the 2023 hurricane season. And I don't think we're going to have anything, in fact, I am very confident we are not going to have anything else on those charts. I'll go ahead and pull it up before we get fully started. There you have it. Tropical cyclone activity not expected during the next 48 hours and not expected for the next 7 days. I do not think we are going to have anything. I've got to stop saying that. I know we are not going to have anything else highlighted for the rest of the calendar season, and I truthfully hope that National Hurricane Center doesn't highlight anything else for the month of December, let alone January. But, of course, as this year has taught us, we can have some sneaky systems try to pop their way in there. So you never know. You never know. I wouldn't be surprised if we had something try to pop up anytime between December and February, if anything. We'll see what happens. Next year is definitely going to be sporty. We have 3 more days, and we'll get a new run of all of our climatology models so we can do a little bit of an inspection on what they're calling for as we get into next hurricane season, because the more we look at those oscillation forecasts, those ENSO forecasts and the ENSO predictions, it definitely does seem like we're going to drop out of an El Nino pretty quickly once we get into springtime of next year, and that's going to change everything. Just to kind of open up the stream with a little bit of a discussion on this hurricane season, El Nino definitely saved us big time, because not only did we have the Caribbean, but also the Gulf of Mexico completely untapped of any significant storms, ex-Idalia. We did have Idalia that formed up right there and just jogged straight up and into the Big Bend area of Florida, the Perry, Florida area, but that was about it. Next year, I'm a little more, actually, you know what, I'm going to say I'm very concerned with these 2 source regions opening up and allowing for major systems to spin up, even if, even just stronger tropical storms. This year we had a couple of very disorganized tropical storms get very close to the Lesser Antilles, and when I say the Lesser Antilles, I mean we saw maybe a couple close calls right in through here, but, we had Franklin. Franklin was a very disorganized system that went through Dominican Republic head-on. So that was the one instance we had a tropical storm go through there, but once again, very disorganized. Extremely disorganized. We didn't have anything really organized hit anybody out there in the Caribbean. Even Idalia finally got her act together after she had moved to the north of Cuba and the extreme eastern tip of the Yucatan Peninsula. So we didn't have anything, honestly. Even Tropical Storm Harold One of my relatives is out there in Houston, and I was talking to him about if they saw anything with Harold, and he was like, no, nothing at all. Nothing at all. So, we really did not see a hell of a lot of anything. Oh, that's true. Yeah, we did. But again, another disorganized system came through and then dissipated right about just to the south of Puerto Rico. Very heavily sheared. Lots of that desert, dry air from Africa still moving across much of the Atlantic. So we had a lot of close brushes with some very disorganized systems. I guess you could technically say Tammy was one of our more aggressive hurricanes that kind of made a very close pass to the Antilles, and unfortunately Barbuda was not spared in that instance. Everyone else was. But truthfully, the talk of the town in the Caribbean and in the Antilles and most of Central America was flooding. It was flooding to the T. That was really it. There was really no major wind damage except Barbuda when Tammy blew through. Didn't hear much out of Bermuda. I haven't seen any of my Bermuda viewers in here, unfortunately, because the live streams have been pretty quiet. No one's really on YouTube. YouTube is also smothering my channel, unfortunately, so I don't think we're going to have a lot of people joining us here on out for a while. It's going to probably be a very intimate group in here. I honestly don't anticipate. I don't know why my allergies are so crazy, guys. Forgive me if you see me itching every now and again. But, yeah, anyways, this hurricane season wasn't all that bad. We can begin to kind of wrap up and draw our conclusions and theorize what next year is going to look like. And I can already tell you, my gut has been screaming at me. Next year is going to be a totally different ballgame. Next year, there's going to be a lot of things to talk about. And, I'm hoping we can bounce back from this YouTube lull before we get into that hurricane season, because there's going to be a lot of things to hype, but there's also going to be a lot of things that we really need to talk about. Who else we got in the chat? Mick and Marley, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. Dark Earth, it's very good to see you. Who else has joined? Anyone else joined? Let's see. Florida is December and January for winter. Then it gets hot around week 2 or 3 of February. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the bummer. Oh, good Lord. I don't even want to hear about chemistry. Chemistry is the bane of my existence right now. Taking survey of chemistry in college right now, and that's been... It's a whole other story in of itself. But anyways, so this is what we have for our setup right now. And you guys can see that if there was any indication or any questioning if El Nino was alive and kicking, it's right here. That is El Nino front and center. You could see it just kind of screaming across Mexico, across parts of Central America, and especially the deep south and the Gulf Coast, firing on all 4 cylinders, helping to fuel this splitting of our 2 systems here. We have a baroclinic system up through eastern Canada, Quebec pushing up towards the Greenland area, Labrador up there. And then we have another area of low pressure that's starting to try to spin right in through here, supported by our subtropical jet instantly right there. We've had really, really good frontal passage here in Florida, and in fact, it's already getting cold out. It's wonderful outside right now. I shared it on my Instagram. Nothing very weather-related. It was more so just my going outside and bringing in the garbage can and the recycling bin just to, get it out of there so HOA doesn't fine any of us. But there you have it. It's right in through here. It's a little difficult to see, but our front is down through almost parts of the Bahamas, maybe just a little further to the north, right in through there somewhere. But you can see in the very low-level cloud setup that it's pushing into parts of Cuba and the very eastern tip, or I should say the northern periphery of the Yucatan. And in fact, if there was an idea or an indication that you needed to show where the tail end of that front is, it's right there. Because look at this very weak mess trying to spin up right at the very final tip of the front, the trailing end of the front. So very, very good cold air. You can see it even up and through here on that infrared imagery. There's a lot of cold air over the Great Lakes, some really good lake effect snow. You can kind of see very small whispers of it even from this far out. Lots of good snowfall and frigid temperatures for Hudson, James Bay, Manitoba, Quebec, Ontario, moving all the way across the Midwest, Northeast. And we're going to get very, very cold down here. Tomorrow, maybe not tomorrow, but definitely into Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to be waking up to some very, very cold temps. Coldest temps of the fall season so far. We'll take a look at that here right now, as a matter of fact. So As I mentioned in my video earlier today, I noticed that Pivotal Weather was having a pretty spectacular Black Friday sale on their hobbyist subscriptions. So I've kind of made the conversion. I still have access to all of my weather models stuff, and I still need to sit down and take some time to do a compare and contrast of what kind of parameters and data I can look at on here versus what I get on weathermodels.com. I'm basically splitting hairs at this point, guys, but weather models, $15 a month. Pivotal Weather, $7 a month. Do the math, you're kind of 50% off basically. So we're going to be using Pivotal Weather a lot more because it's a cheaper subscription and a lot of the same model data that we can gather, which is good stuff. I'm having a lot of fun messing around with this website. It's always fun to take a look at some of the new overlays and get comfortable with it. I do like their loop setup though. I like this slider tool. You just kind of slide it around, woo! Whereas on weather models, you kind of have to load it up and very, very cautious with where you run your mouse. A lot of the same parameters on here as well. We still have all of our ensembles. We have the blend of models on here, which is pretty cool. We have all of our high-res data, some regional models here, a couple of different parameters of the Canadian model too, which is pretty cool. So yeah, still experimenting with what it is we have on here. One thing I've been wanting to look at, however, are what our ensembles look like on this page, because if there's one thing I really liked about weather models specifically is they have the tracks and the tropical models as well. And I know that's not necessarily the situation with what's going on right now, but I do like the probabilities and other things along those lines. So let's do a little bit of digging while we're here, while we're just kind of messing around, and see if we can find anything. We're only 12 minutes into the stream. We'll let a couple more people join if they decide to join, if they even know that this stream is ongoing, because of YouTube basically smothering my channel, unfortunately, because no one's interested in the weather right now. Let's see. So, I'm not seeing... Let's see. What about this? Is this going to give us... Nope. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have to mess around with this. There's North Pacific, North America, Northern Hemisphere. Definitely don't want that. Oh, this is a pretty good 5-wave or a wave chart that we can look at. Let's see. Forecasts, CPC, and models, global, ensembles. So what I'm noticing, unless I'm just not finding it right now, and I might have to spend a little bit more time looking around when we're off the stream, is it doesn't seem like we have any of our tracks, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. We'll go over to weathermodels.com real quick, and who knows, maybe if YouTube kicks back up, I can afford to pay for both of these websites. We'll see. But this stuff right here, let's go ahead and for shoots and giggles look at our tropical probabilities. So this is what I'm talking about. I love looking at these things. Yeah, there's nothing out there. I love looking at these, and then let's go over to the cyclone locations. I like looking at these as well with the little tracks and whatnot on here. These are pretty neat. So I need to play around with Pivotal Weather and see if they have them on there as well. Pretty sure they do, but once again, look at that, guys. All the way out to December 12th, our models are not thinking anything tropical is going to form up. And since we're here, we'll go ahead and look at the GFS ensembles as well, just for fun, just for old time's sake. And yeah, nothing out there all the way up until December 13th. Nothing at all. So we are done with the hurricane hype train is what I'll call it. But dang, I really hope I can find those things on here. I wonder if they're just somewhere else and I'm not finding them at all. Because that's going to be a huge bummer if I can't find any of that. I might just cancel this subscription if we can't find it. Let's see, what about this? This means silver pressure members for the EPS. This doesn't look like it either. And you know what? It doesn't even look like we can go out into the tropics with this or the tropical Atlantic. So you know what? This website's kind of losing... It's kind of losing me. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm sitting here playing around with it right now, just messing with it. I'm not really... Okay, here we go. We have Atlantic here, Atlantic basins. There's the Atlantic. Now, do we have any of our other overlays on here? Does not look like it. Well, Coulda, shoulda, woulda. All right, we'll come back to this later. Anyways, let's go ahead and start getting into the main reason we're actually in this segment. We'll go to the continental U.S. That's not the one I want. Yep, see, you guys can definitely tell I need to mess around with this a little bit more. Continental U.S., here we go. All right, so 2 main areas to watch as of right now. At least that's what I'm thinking. That's what my brain is picking up on. Right down here in the southeast and the Gulf Coast, Dixie Alley severe weather event. That's what a lot of us are bullseyeing right now. Even a good old extreme meteorologist, Reed Timmer, is looking at possibly going storm chasing down in this same general area once again. This is as we turn the page this Friday into December 1st. We're looking at possible another outbreak of severe weather. Maybe not a whole lot of tornado action. For everything that we talked about for that last severe weather event, we didn't see too many tornadoes. I think there was all in all maybe, let's go over there right now and take a look while we're discussing this. Let's go to Storm Prediction Center and let's see, SPC products. Where's the archive or the storm reports? Here we go, storm reports. Let's go back in time and see. Can I go? Yeah, here we go. So past storm reports. That's the 26th. When did we have that severe weather event? It was like Tuesday of last week. So today is the 27th. 23rd was Thursday. So let's go back to the 21st and see what we got. Okay, so there's 3 tornado reports on Tuesday, last Tuesday. 3 tornado reports last Tuesday. And then, oh, wow, okay, never mind. Take that back. Definite tornado outbreak. We had a total of 20 tornadoes with that last event. Good Lord, yeah, they definitely bumped up their numbers, that's for sure. Look at all these tornado reports. This is all tornado right here. Let's see, so EF1, noticeable damage near Sand Hill Road, just west of Forest Road 212, from 2 west of EF1 tornado, EF1, EF0. So thankfully, it sounds like a lot of these tornadoes were very weak. EF1 tornado briefly touched down, EF1, Road 87, tracked northeast for nearly 3 miles. See, there was a longer-lasting tornado, tracked 3 miles. Most of the damage was in the form of damaged trees, so good stuff. I mean, not good. Good in terms of storm chasing. It's always fun to see these tornadoes pop off, and they're not anything extremely deadly, so that's good. Train spotter reported tornado, very brief and weak tornado touchdown Tuesday night in southwest Chester County, off Leeds Road and Berlin Drive. So, pretty solid tornado event, so never mind, I take that back. When I had checked preliminary reports the day after, I noticed there were only 5 confirmed touchdowns. But now it looks like we've definitely bumped those numbers up. And it looks like we could be having a repeat of that here very soon. You can see it right in through here in the southeast. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a zoom in. We'll go regional. Let's go southeast United States. Let's see what this overlay looks like. Okay, this isn't going to do us too good, but there you have it right there. Let's go to, is this where we're going to have 850? Yeah, 850 millibar height and wind. You take this through time to the December 1st, and look at all those really aggressive low-level winds. There's your low-level jets setting back up, predominantly getting strong once again over Louisiana, Mississippi, spread into Alabama and Georgia. So that's where we are thinking we're going to have another possible outbreak of severe weather at the end of this week. At the end of this week, the European model is on board with it. You can see it plain as day on the European model. This is not the one that I want. I want high res. So that's another thing, too. I got to get used to flipping back and forth between a lot of these different models. I didn't even know there was a high res versus a low res version of the Euro. But here you go. This is November 30th. There goes our 850 millibar flow going right into December 1st. And look at how that low-level jet really fires up right around that same general area. And then, of course, misses Florida, of course, and then heads up towards the mid-Atlantic states, very reminiscent of what we saw last time. And then this big old mess of a system that gets going for December 4th into the 5th and the 6th. Look at this. Now, this is going to be a hellacious system. That's what I had advertised on my video today. Massive winter storm, a very, very, very aggressive nor'easter. And when I say very aggressive, take a look at these mean sea level pressure predictions, even out of the European model. I saw these and I was like, whoo, okay, that's going to be a bomb cyclone if I've ever seen one. Look at this. 987, 978, 967, and then it's off the chart before we can see it. But 967, and the GFS was going very, very, I'm not going to finish that sentence, was going very crazy with it as well. If I switch back over to our GFS, let's go to the 18Z GFS and see if it has that on there. So we'll track it through time. Moving. There's our severe weather event popping up. So the GFS is verifying well run to run. We still have that going up. Another rain event for the southeast, which I'm a little nervous about because this is on Saturday. And that's when I'm going to be out there in Daytona for that car event up in Daytona Beach. So I'm a little nervous about this. And really, it's an indoor show. So as long as I can drive the car up there and get her inside before the rain hits, we should be okay. Then after that, things will be a little bit better. I wouldn't mind the car getting all that dirty on the way home. Might even try to stay up in Daytona and ride that storm out a little bit. Let's see if I'm going to be able to do that. Yeah, it looks like Sunday's going to clear out predominantly until maybe the middle afternoon. But then take a look in the northeast. Lots of freezing rain expected. There goes our system blowing up. 967, 964, 961, 959, all the way down to a 959 millibar bomb cyclone. And if you guys recall, that is major hurricane status for its tropical sister type of cyclone. This is going to be a baroclinic system, and we have a huge amount of cold air coming in from behind it all through here. You can see that pressure gradient force just driving a ton of frigid cold air through. High pressure over the Gulf of Mexico, for that matter, is going to be helping push that front further into the Atlantic. So we're all going to see some pretty good winds, lots of snowfall for the Northeast, the Great Lakes, the Midwest, and very heavy rainfall with this as it blows through. But a 959 millibar low. That's wild. That's a direct comparison or a direct competitor to a major hurricane on the tropical spectrum of things. So that's what we're watching, and then we have another one getting ready to pop off right behind it over the Pacific Northwest. If you guys look out in that region, seeing another one coming down and moving through quick, giving us another push of cold air. And then, the GFS has been hinting at this towards the very tail end of each of its runs. It's been on there for a few runs now. And, I want to buy into it, but every other time we've had a very crazy looking low pressure, low rider system come across the Gulf, it gets washed out as we get closer in time, and it doesn't ever pan out. Because, early indications for the December 12th and 13th time frame, this looks like it could definitely be a severe weather event for us in the southeast, finally hitting close to home and for us in Florida. But the last few times, that's washed out, and it hasn't come to fruition. A lot of them have kind of buzzed through the Gulf Coast and up towards the mid-Atlantic state, and we've dodged it here in Central Florida. So we'll see what happens. Hi, Nazario, and everyone in chat just shared the stream and tuning in. Hey, thanks, Fish Aquarium. I saw your comment earlier, and I definitely appreciate the suggestion. I would not mind doing a weekly or a bi-weekly fishing report, especially as the weather does get a little progressively better for us, minus these low-rider El Nino systems. I definitely want to try taking advantage of going fishing myself every other weekend. So I definitely think I'll either do a YouTube short or a recurring video on a week-to-week or bi-weekly basis doing some kind of fishing news for the Gulf Coast, for Florida, for folks who aren't getting inundated by extremely cold temperatures and want nothing more than to just be inside near a fire or something like that. It's Senator Ryan. Is there memberships for this channel? I haven't thought about that, unfortunately. I've thought, that's not a bad idea. And it'd be pretty neat to do memberships because, trust me, right now, especially while we're down in the dumps in terms of viewers, subscribers, it seems like every time I put out a new video, I think it's a good one, and I put a lot of effort into it, and the only thing that happens is I lose subscribers. So I don't know. But, cheers to the quiet time of the season. Like I said, forgive me if you hear me going full ASMR, sipping water. I apologize. But yeah, that's been a little discouraging. In fact, let's see. Let me go to my YouTube right now and see if anybody else has dropped off the page. Nope, thankfully not. But shucks, my views have not been this low since I started YouTube, which is very disappointing. I didn't think we'd drop off as heavily as we have, but it comes with the trade, it comes with the times, and we will get through this, and I'm not going to stop. I figured I'd test the waters on a Monday after Thanksgiving and make another video and see how it does. And, but anyways, I agree, YouTube politics. A weak El Nino means equal chance of dry or wet winter. This could be similar to, this is not a weak El Nino. This is a very strong El Nino, and it's happening. It's happening big time. You can see it plain as day on the satellite imagery. There's a strong El Nino in place. Very strong. We're just not seeing it in Florida, unfortunately. That's the problem. And it does look like it could possibly rain this weekend. Maybe not for your area, but it definitely seems like we could definitely see some rain, and that's what I'm leery about. Both the Euro, GFS, even the Canadian, the Icon are on board with some rain. We can't see that far out with our high-res model data just yet. Let's see if the NAM is calling for any rainfall, because I know the NAM will get us out 84 hours, and it'll get us close. So let's see what the NAM is thinking for the next few days. Take it out to December 1st, and yep, there you go. On December 1st, NAM is thinking we're going to get a little bit of a spin out there in the Gulf of Mexico, so we'll have to see what happens. It's not thinking we're going to get very much in the way of significant weather over the southeast, or am I looking at the wrong time? Let's see. That's November. Yeah, no, so the NAM is thinking we're not going to see anything severe in the southeast, so a little bit of a split difference. But anyways, it looks like all of our models are thinking we can get a little bit of an elevated rain risk down here in the south. Nothing organized, just looking at the way the pressure gradient is situated and the fact that we have warm air advection coming up from the south. This just kind of looks like a quasi-stationary band of temperature discontinuity. And I know it technically could be a warm front, considered a warm front, but I'm going to say stationary just because of all this, what looks to be overrunning. And essentially, guys, in layman's terms, for those of you who are not well-versed in synoptic meteorology, overrunning means you have a band of temperature discontinuity or a difference in your temperatures and air masses along either side of where your stationary boundary or your separation of different air masses is. And as that warm air rushes over top of it, you have that cold pool situated, we'll say, over the southeast and the south, and those the warm air coming over or overrunning it, running over top of it, just continues to lift and move up over that dome of cold air, and that's what helps instigate all that onshore rainfall that you guys can see kind of just situated over the southeast. You see it starts right there on December 2nd, and it looks to try to persist all the way up until December 5th, until that next major baroclinic system gets going. And then you have a bona fide occluded low with a cold front moving all the way down into the Gulf of Mexico, Yucatan again, and this is all very strong cold air advection. So it looks like we could have a stationary boundary just kind of kicking it over the Gulf Coast line of the Gulf of Mexico. Pete, welcome in, buddy. I see you in there, sir. Sorry I haven't acknowledged you yet. I do see you. Might chase less snows across Erie and Ontario. Oh, that'd be exciting. California looks drier than normal. Another sign, El Nino is not strong. California is going to be getting some really crazy weather here very soon. In fact, they're expecting a cutoff low over the next couple of days as we get towards the back end of this week, and that's going to help ignite what happens over the southern plains. And I've been watching a few other sources out there. They've been getting rain. I don't know about them being dry. They've been getting some rain, especially up towards the northern half of California. At least that's what I've been hearing, unless people are lying. I don't know. Oh, yeah, Mick and Marley, a huge cut. You know, I'll tell you the truth. If you guys really want to know, especially since we're a very intimate group in here, we're only 23 deep, and this is how I kind of expect our live streams to keep rolling as we go through most of winter, honestly. Maybe after the holidays, people will start to tune back in, but right now everyone's on vacation. But, you know, on average in the lives, we would have at least 150 to 200 people tuning in every night that we would host a live stream. And on average, my videos would garner anywhere between 3,500 to sometimes 7,000 views. And I would at least see, at the minimum, 10, 15, 20 new subscribers per video. And that's kind of how I was projecting our growth over the next couple of months. And I figured we'd be at 6,000 well before this. But now, unfortunately, huge, I'm talking huge dump in views. We've gone from, at the minimum, my lowest videos was maybe 3 to 3,500 views. Now I'm lucky if I get 500 views. No kidding, we've slashed, and YouTube has stopped recommending my videos to, let's see if they'll say it. No, not tonight, they're not going to say it. But last time we had the, whatchamacallit, Last time we had that whole average on the analytics when my views dropped, it no kidding said 87% of your normal viewers are not watching. And it's like, 87%? That means almost everybody was like, I'm going to give this dude the bird and I'm done watching. And I know that a lot of people in the Caribbean, especially, and out there along the Atlantic coastline are officially on vacation from all things weather, because anything that happens is going to come from the west first and move to the east. It's not going to be in the form of a major hurricane. So now that the hype season is over, I would honestly go turn the other way too. I wouldn't pay attention, but unfortunately for folks like us who are working hard in the weather sphere, it gets a little difficult. When can South Florida see? Matthew, welcome in, by the way. I didn't see you till just now. South Florida see a big cold plunge very soon. As a matter of fact, we'll go over to WPC because I'm pretty sure the system that just moved through right now is going to bring us some very cool weather across the state. Yeah, so actually my analysis was spot on when we were looking at the infrared. The front is now moving through Cuba, parts of the Yucatan, and as a result, we'll actually come on over here. We'll use this website for a little bit, and we'll take a look at what our temperatures are supposed to be in the morning and moving forward, because I'm super pumped for this. So yeah, tomorrow morning when we wake up, we could be in the low 40s in the Panhandle in northern Central Florida or the northern peninsula of Florida, looking at 50s all the way down to the Miami area. So down in South Florida, Miss Leah, I'm looking at you. Matt, to answer your question, we're looking at mid to upper 50s tomorrow morning when we wake up, and then it gets even better as we go into Wednesday. Look at that. Wednesday when we wake up, we're at near freezing temperatures throughout the Panhandle, all the way through Tallahassee, close to Jacksonville. You guys are still sitting pretty right up against that Gulf Stream current, unfortunately, so you're going to still be in a mild upper 50 range in the southeast of Florida, but even in my neck of the woods here in Polk County, we're looking at low 40s when we wake up on Wednesday. Heck yeah, I'm excited to go to the gym all bundled up and all like, woo, I got to change out before I get a workout and get a warm-up on the way to the gym. Let's see, and then we're going to warm back up, and the next big front is going to come through. Yeah, there you have it. There's another big front expected for December 6th and December 7th. So on a week-by-week basis, we're going to start seeing the fronts come through. So we'll see what happens. El Nino is looking moderately strong. I don't know what you guys are basing your El Nino forecasts off of, because El Nino is the only thing you really need is the Enso index to be where it needs to be and very, very hot temps in the Pacific. That's what characterizes an El Nino. It's just the differences in ocean temperatures. That's the big thing. And you could see right in through here, all these winds right there, just pile drive in the south. That's El Nino. That's the flow associated with El Nino right there. It's keeping the subtropical jet over the south. So I really would love to know what you guys are using to forecast your El Nino, because this is definitely a hefty El Nino setup. That's why we have this thing blowing up, have very, very strong jet level winds moving across where it's supposed to. We're picking up all the moisture in the eastern Pacific, and it's not even making it any further to the west than where you see all this blob of tropical stuff right here. It's getting sucked right into Mexico, so they're getting a lot of good rainfall action. Fortunately for some, unfortunately for areas still undergoing the recovery from Hurricane Otis. We haven't forgotten about you guys. And there's our cutoff low. As a matter of fact, let's go out to the eastern Pacific real quick. Let's switch the area. We'll go west, and there it is. So there's our cutoff low. Cutoff low is already in action. There it is. So let's get a little closer than this. Can I? Yeah, there we go. Boom. Bonafide cutoff low. That is just spinning and doing its thing, and that's what's expected to wander towards the California coast over the next couple of days and help to really bring in some good rainfall for the Pac Northwest and especially the Bay Area of California, getting closer to the Sierra Nevadas. They'll probably see a lot of good snowfall with this as it comes down. But yeah, so models are doing really well. There's our cutoff low that's expected to move across, and it's this energy that's expected to move through the central and southern Rockies of the Four Corners and help translate some of that energy into the southern plains according to the Euro and the GFS. That's going to kick off that possible area of severe weather. So pretty cool. You can see that cutoff low pinwheeling out there. It's definitely doing its thing, and it's active. Dry fronts are not indicative of El Nino. Last December, we had a hard freeze and We had frost and a freeze. Well, yeah, last year we were in a La Nina. We didn't go into El Nino until this year. We didn't start transitioning to El Nino until this year, if I'm not mistaken. I would most definitely get a membership for this channel, Senator Rhino. Well, thank you very much. That means a lot. Definitely appreciate that. Looks like our first frost might happen. Not into that. It looks nice, but grass looks brown and ugly. And then heat wave arrives and it stays dry. For the most part, I definitely think we're kind of lowballing the rain chances here, guys. I don't. Like I said, I don't know where you guys are getting some of your rain forecasts or where you guys are seeing that it's dry, because I've been seeing a lot of rain everywhere. There's been a lot of rain going on for most of us. The last couple, yesterday we had a lot of rain blow through here. I had it pouring rain here in my neighborhood. Northern Florida had a lot of rainfall. Let's go over to WPC and see what their QPFs are looking at over the next couple days, throughout the rest of this week. So day 2, day 3. Yeah, look at that. Huge surge of moisture. Very big surge for the Gulf Coast once again. Big time rains. That's for certain. And as a matter of fact, speaking of big-time rains in the southeast, we haven't seen Sharon in here. She's another one who hasn't been in here for a little bit. Sharon, because I know she likes to mention the Panhandle and the Gulf Coast, unfortunately. There is a weak to moderate El Nino, but it is not strong. No heavy rain is forecast this week. I'm just looking at this chart and I see heavy rain for a lot of people, but maybe not. Maybe we're in a weak El Nino. I hope you guys can detect the sarcasm on that. But all right. Anyways, look at that. Not a lot of rain. What? Not a lot of rain. I'm seeing anywhere between 5 to 7, kind of squeaking into the double digits for a lot of the southeast, minus the Florida Peninsula. So, I don't know. I could be wrong. I've been out to lunch before. I've been wrong on a lot of forecasts, but just looking at the satellite, I definitely... Well, we'll go ahead and do something even bigger. Let's go to the full disk. That's not what I wanted. Never mind. I messed that up. Where is the one satellite image that shows us everything? I don't think we're going to find it on here. Let's go back to that 5-wave chart. That's what's going to do us a favor. Let's go continental northern hemisphere. Let's go upper level winds. We'll go to 300 millibars. And there you go. You can see that STJ, that southern branch of the jet, is going to be active for a while. You can see it all through here. It's still... Can you give me my ink? Thank you very much. There it is. Right in through there. There's our low-latitude jet is what I'll call it. Constantly moving across. Constantly, and it never leaves down there in the south. It never leaves. It stays right in place. So, I don't know. Maybe for western Florida and maybe for the south part of Florida, but I've definitely been seeing a lot of rain outside, so maybe El Nino is just a tiny little area in Central Florida. We have like this much El Nino in Central Florida, and then it's missing everybody else. Because I for certain have been seeing a lot of rain. It's been very it's been very wet outside. Even this morning when I went outside before the gym, I saw that the ground was wet and it smelled like rain. So we had rain overnight, as a matter of fact. Last night, watching a movie, all of a sudden you hear for sure. So, I don't know. I had to call my uncle. It's his birthday today. Oh, happy birthday to your uncle, Ethan. It hasn't rained heavily since 10 days ago. It rained lightly yesterday morning. Show me where the heavy rain is. I get where you're coming from, but we also can't forecast for your street. That's not how we characterize El Nino and what's happening across the northern hemisphere. We're basically taking the northern hemisphere and doing this. Is there El Nino? Well, I don't feel anything outside, so there's your El Nino, and that's not how it works. There's all the indications that we have a very, very good El Nino setup out there. I'm not going to characterize it as weak, moderate, strong. All I know is it's definitely there. That's the big thing in a nutshell. Nazario just showed us that the southeast states is going to get a deluge, basically. They say heavy rain events is a strong Nino. Anything less is not a strong Nino. The jet is not south enough and not enough moisture. National Weather Service, Tampa Bay, and Miami. Well, I mean, like I said, if we want to forecast for Tampa Bay and Miami, then we could definitely say that technically there's no El Nino. I guess there's El Nino in Osceola and Polk County. My buddy Gabriel was mentioning in Orlando there's El Nino, but then West Florida and South Florida aren't getting an El Nino. So we could go as far as to say the jet's there and everybody in the southeast has been seeing rain, but El Nino is not there in West and South Florida. So I guess El Nino is skipping counties now. They're discriminating. Ooh, excuse me. That was karma at its finest. Let me not get asphyxiated. Shout out to Gabriel. Asphyxiation. All right. So anyways, where were we? So it's 8:40. We're going to start wrapping up the live stream very soon. Let's head on over to Tropical Tidbits and actually take a look at some of our sea surface temps and our analysis data. Yeah, look at that. Even with this static image, look at all that jet right there. Look at all that jet. That's El Nino right there. All of that. Look at that. We have a bone dry. I wouldn't even call that a Central Pacific. We just have all of our energy being forced up against Mexico and Central America and getting shoved across the south. So, I don't know. But anyways, let's go over here and let's take a look at ocean analysis. So, oh yeah, look at that. So it looks like El Nino definitely spiked quite a bit. We're definitely in a good, potent El Nino right now, and it's kind of gone down just a hair, at least for the 3-4 index. Let's see what we have going on. Let's see 1 and 2. So we're ebbing and flowing in the 1 and 2, and then 4 massive. Well, not massive. I shouldn't say. The scale is changing. Let's go to the 3. That's still the 4. Let's go to the 3. So yeah, we definitely saw El Nino kick in during central parts, during the middle parts of November, and we're still at the highest point so far for a lot of our El Nino indexes. Let's see, what else can we look at? This right here is very telling. If that's not an El Nino, then we need to call all these folks who've given us literature and all the science behind El Nino, because, yeah, in this case, I would say the writing is on the wall. The writing is definitely on the wall. And I'm not a big fan of this at all. I'm definitely not a big fan of this. Let's see. Let's just go full North Atlantic. Look at this, guys. This is not what I'm a big fan of. This is definitely concerning. We're getting ready to go into December, and we have to see when these waters are going to cool down, because we are now 3 degrees warmer throughout much of the mid-latitude and tropical Atlantic. And for most of the Gulf of Mexico, despite these very intense fronts coming down, and the Caribbean for that matter, we're still sitting pretty between 1 and 1.5 degrees Charlie warmer. That's not good. That's not good at all. Why shouldn't people still be watching this? This guy is awesome. Senator Ryan, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Learn what strong means, okay? I could take that in so many different ways. It means I either need to hit the gym a little bit harder and get even stronger, or, I don't know, go FSU, going during next year for a tour. Well, that's good stuff. It was raining this weekend in Tampa when I was there. Actually, yeah, you know what? I just realized that. I was also in the Tampa-St. Pete area between Friday and into Saturday, and it was pouring rain, yeah. A strong El Nino means we should be above 2 degrees Charlie. So far, it's moderate. Well, at this rate, I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to argue. I see all the signs. I definitely, at least everything that I've been taught for El Nino it's like right in my face. It's definitely screaming. It's all there. We got our low latitude jet. We have all the moisture getting slung across the south. I'm not going to split hairs and go all the way down to a county-by-county basis to determine if El Nino is affecting this entire slab of the northern and southern hemisphere, for that matter. Because, I mean, I could see El Nino spanning all the way into close to what looks to be all the way out to Thailand almost. Very hot waters still off in the West Pacific, which is why they're still seeing a lot of the cyclone action out there, the typhoon action, unfortunately. So yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna split hairs all the way down to what Florida is seeing in comparison to everybody else, because I mean, I don't know. I could see it in the analysis data here with the Nino indexes. Everything's looking pretty good in terms of El Nino, but we'll call it a moderate just because we haven't been inundated here in Florida, I guess. I just know it's El Nino. That's the big thing. I'm just going to mention it's El Nino. El Nino is definitely firing on all fronts. Look at this. I'm just going to take you through the loop, and you can see all that moisture just slinging across. The only time it's not there is when the fronts come through. When the fronts come through, that makes sense. It's going to clear it all out. But look at from right here, and you just take it through time. Look at all that moisture moving across the Gulf. All that moisture. Then a high comes in, but then as soon as that high begins to vacate, we get another round of weather moving across the south, We'll go to the northern hemisphere and take a look, and we'll go way high in the atmosphere because I know that we're going to need to go as high as we possibly can to see the subtropical jet. And yeah, there it is. Subtropical jet is definitely kicking. In fact, a lot of it ends up really heavily merged with our polar front jet, which is why we just have instance after instance after instance of shared energy over the Midwest, the Appalachians, and the Mid-Atlantic states. Like, look at that. It's a shared energy region. Shared energy, shared energy, shared energy, a lot of shared energy. And maybe it's because of that shared energy interaction that we're seeing a lot more Mid-Atlantic to Northeast action as opposed to down here in the South. Maybe it's because the polar front jet is not cooperating for an El Nino system, and it's causing that interaction between the two, and that's why a lot of it is being scooped up to the north, because as that shared energy region kicks off, look at that giant anticyclone over the Caribbean and over the Gulf of Mexico, and maybe that's why all of our storms are missing Florida and moving just barely to our north. I don't know. That's my best assessment. It definitely does seem like El Nino is firing. We have all the textbook trademarks, whether it's weak, minimal, strong, bogus, fictional, whatever you want to put on the table. I mean, we definitely have all the signs. All the signs. Just unfortunately, Central and South Florida just refuse to play. I mean, this chart tells it all. Look at all of this bad rainfall, and it's literally just this spot. Just that spot that's not seeing rain, but everybody else is definitely seeing it, and I do believe it's that that interaction between our jets that's maybe causing a little more hubbub. So, but alrighty, we're going to start getting ready to close down the stream. By the time waters cool down to normal, might be approaching summer. That's if. That is if. Definitely if. We'll see. We'll see if they actually do cool down, because a lot of folks have been saying they should have cooled down by now. And honestly, these anomaly charts are looking worse than they were not too long ago. Because for a while, we actually did see the Gulf of Mexico and a lot of the western Atlantic waters in the shades of blue because of our initial pushes of cold air and the frontal systems beginning to make their way down. And now you can see it's almost as if the fronts are really not having any effect on our water temperatures, and they haven't gone anywhere. And that's why through much of October and November, I was cheering a lot of these tropical systems on, and I was hoping that something big, as morbid as that may sound, I was hoping something huge would go on in the Caribbean. Because if you guys look closely, we haven't warmed back up since those major systems moved through the western Atlantic. We had Lee, and then we had Nigel. Who else was there? Franklin. We have not seen the temps go back up. They're still colder than normal based on these anomaly charts because the ocean heat content was tapped out from all those major hurricanes that moved through there, and it's still doing good. We just haven't cycled through all that water down there in the Caribbean or the Gulf of Mexico. Both of those areas have remained untapped, and that's what's concerning, is if it's going to linger like that into next year And as we roll into the hurricane season, are we going to get schwacked by storms because that water remained untapped, or are we going to cool down a little bit more? Is that a possibility? You come over here, and a lot of our models are not thinking that that's going to cool down at all. I mean, look at that. Is this new model data? Oh, it is new model data. Yeah, see, that's really, we could have a very early start to hurricane season next year. A very early start. Look at how hot this is expected to be. We're looking at 2 to 3 degrees warmer in the Caribbean. And during June, July, and into August, this is when this area is going to be ready to go. All this area is going to be ready to go during the first 2 months of hurricane season, and then we make the transition out to the main development region. And that's why I'm telling you, like, a lot of folks can definitely flame me and think it's ridiculous that I'm looking so far out into the hurricane season, but every time this model updates, it does not change. Look at this. Open season for all of our folks in the Caribbean, for Florida, for the Carolinas. Like, I honestly think we're going to roll into next hurricane season with a bullseye on our back. Next hurricane season is going to be a deadly one, a lethal one. That's for sure. We're definitely have to prepare now while we still can. I'm very curious to see what CANSIP says for next month once we get all that fresh data in. Because, yeah, look at that. For June, July, August, September, October, we could honestly, this time next year, if everything is going on, like if we have the flipperoo to a neutral, if not a very weak La Nina next year, we could honestly, no kidding, as funny as it was to joke around about this year, we honestly could possibly see a totally different map this time next year in the hurricane season. We could possibly still have an X or two on this map next year if these trends continue. Just looking at all of our climatology data, like look at October. October could definitely be a very busy part of the hurricane season. And if we don't miraculously get June, July to kick off, then during the heart of hurricane season, we could definitely be hurting. In fact, we might not get a break. We might not get a break next year. And I really wish people would take those very, very early preliminary looks at next hurricane season a little more serious. Because we're looking at all these different things, and even the CANSIPS model thinks we're going to be very, very warm and above average once again across that area. Like, look at this. It's been consistently calling for that. There's October, there's September, here's November, and in a couple days, this Friday, as a matter of fact, we'll get another run of this Climo model. So Friday night, when we meet back here for our post-tropics topic, we might actually have to call it a future tropics topic because we can look at all of our new CANSIPS data and a lot of our month-to-month Climo data. That is true. That is true. Hopefully Central don't get high 30s like a long time ago. That's too cold for me. Yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see. And yes, I definitely agree. Shouldn't the cold fronts cool the waters as they continue to get stronger? We'll see. We do have some very strong fronts coming down now. So maybe as we go through December and January, we will at least see the Gulf of Mexico and the very western extent, of the Atlantic begin to finally cool itself off, especially as we start seeing the more near freezing, if not freezing temperatures come off the Gulf Coast. So we'll see. We'll definitely see what happens. The weather's being very weird, though. It's definitely being very weird. Incredibly weird, honestly. All the videos I saw shows the Gulf Coast in Florida is going to get hit multiple times. You know what? Call it hype. Call me annoying. Call me whatever you want. I actually agree with that. This year we dodged a lot of bullets. There's a lot of sources out there who agree that we dodged a lot of bullets. I've even heard a lot of people looking at Idalia now and saying it could have been a lot worse than what it was. 100% agree. It's a matter of perspective. Next year, I really do think there's going to be a lot of times where you guys are definitely going to be on social media and looking here on this channel, as a matter of fact, and I'm going to be out there for sure. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. We'll kind of close the live stream on that little bit of a somber yet cliffhanger note. This Friday, I'm excited to have you guys back so we can digest what our next run of climatology model data looks like, especially for this model, the CANSIPs, because this will take us through to November of next year, and we can kind of get an idea of exactly if the models are still going to be trending in this fashion. Like, look at that. You see it like clockwork. March, April, oh no, that's March, April, look down here. Look at how the tropics open up as soon as we get to June. Nothing, and then watch how if I slide this through very quickly, tropics open up big time. Look at that. There's tropical season. You can see it lifting up. You can see the difference in the seasons. That's very neat how you can see the seasonal change here. And the very big difference here is June, July, August, and September for that matter. It looks like our Bahamas, our Greater Antilles, the Lesser Antilles, and Florida, and maybe even the Carolinas are really going to need to pay very close attention to what blooms out there. Because El Nino saved us. El Nino definitely saved us this year. If I go back in time towards, we'll go to June. Yeah, you can already see the difference. Most of our line is here. And then this is all shut down, closed. So we'll definitely have to see. It's going to be a long gruel. Oh, no, yeah, how close are we? We'll be live on Wednesday. I'm just saying Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go to my calendar here. Friday is the 1st of December. So, yeah, guys, we'll still be, we'll still be live on the 29th. I'm just mentioning the 1st particularly so we can come back in here and look at our Climo models. I have not watched that base video, and I do apologize. Oh, no, yes, I have. I have watched it. Sorry, no, I've watched it. I've watched a couple of your videos recently, as a matter of fact. Isaac is the one, Nomad Cat, for you. Mentioned that, and that just kind of sticks out to me. I get a little quiver in my eye. What hurricane season could be potentially compared to the prelims for next year? Is it 2020-esque? That's going to be a tough one. Let's save that for another live stream. Let's do, as a matter of fact, to heck with it. I barely have people tuning into my channel right now, so if you guys want to tune back in on Wednesday night, the 29th, as we get ready for the 1st, and we can look at what our newest run of Climo data looks like. On the 29th, we'll do like a little bit of a pool, if you will, here on the channel. We will go ahead and kind of guesstimate what it is that 2024 could be very reminiscent of in terms of hurricane seasons. We'll do that. That's what we'll kind of base our post-tropics topic on Wednesday. But PM, before we close out the stream, I just want to let you know, buddy, I'm not coming for you, and none of this was meant to be derogatory or taken personally, or as if for the rest of the folks in the stream, as if this was meant to be like an aggressive debate or anything like that. Just a matter of opinions, and I respect yours, and I hope that you can respect mine. And I just want to let you know, dude, that none of it is anything intense or actually, what's the word I'm looking for, with bad intentions or anything like that. So I appreciate the collab as always. I do want to apologize if it seemed like anything was coming off more aggressive or just kind of, unbecoming of me as a person. So hope all good. Just speculating, talking, looking at El Nino. It's brand spanking new to me. Well, I wouldn't say brand new, but you know what I mean. Anyways, we're just collaborating, that's all. I figured I'd throw that out there. Let's see. We will have more major hurricanes next year. I agree. 2004 XL edition. Hopefully not, because there were too many hurricanes for Florida and the Caribbean. Isaac is the name I'm looking at with my two functioning eyes. Hopefully not 2005 either. No rapid intensification. Oh, good God. There won't be enough time there won't be enough time for rapid intensification. It'll be all explosive intensification, nuclear intensification. And yeah, I agree. It is a little difficult to communicate via a chat, especially with slow mode turned on. But yeah, it is what it is. No more ice storms, please, and thank you. We will have to see if 2024 is going to be anything like 2004. Let's go ahead and see. I know we pulled it up before. Hurricane names. Chris. If anything, if 2024 is going to be reminiscent of any hurricane season as we transition out of El Nino, Chris is going to be the one that we need to watch here in Florida, i.e. Charlie from 2004. What the heck? The 2024 Atlantic's hurricane season was the second in a row of above-average seasons, as well as the second hyperactive season in a row after 2023. This is a hypothetical. Let's see what this article has to say. Oh, wow, look at that. These are our hypothetical tracks for next year. Hypothetical. These are hypothetical, guys, so entirely 100% fictional. Oh, wow. This is really cool. I know this is 100% fiction, definitely 100% fiction, but this is really neat. Look at that. We have AI or CGI generated hurricanes out here. There's one Florida landfall already. That's not good. You just mentioned Beryl, and Beryl is forecasted to hit Florida. Ugly looking system right here. Heavily sheared. Who is this? Oh, that's Chris right there. Or no, this is a depression. This is Chris. This is Major Hurricane Chris. This is Depression 4L. There's Debbie. Let's see what they have the ice storm doing. Let's see if they forecast the ice storm to hit Florida again, hypothetically. Oh, no, we already passed it. Kirk, Joyce, Isaac. So, hypothetical hurricane season next year, they do not have the ice storm hitting Florida. Nadine is supposed to be a huge storm, and that one's going to come up through the Cayman Islands. Here's Milton. Milton's supposed to hit Florida. This is pretty neat. I'm not going to lie. This is fun just to kind of speculate and see. Kind of neat. I hope no one takes this seriously, though. Because this is all... Yeah, here we go. This is no way based on real-life storms. The storms here are entirely fictional for the year and do not represent the season in the physical world. Totally fake. Totally fake. So, again, totally fake, totally fake, totally fake, guys. This is entirely fake. A fun little neat website that we just discovered at the tail end of the stream. But, yeah, so that's going to be the rhythm for this week. Wednesday evening, we will go ahead and do some preliminary comparisons between all the different, hurricane seasons and kind of place some bets or do a little pot in the chat to determine which we believe is going to be the most reminiscent season for 2024. We can even look back at El Nino to La Nina and neutral seasons as well to kind of get an idea of what the environment looks like and what kind of track record they have. And then we'll kind of prep ourselves for Friday. We'll prep ourselves for Friday and see exactly what happens with our CANSIPS data and take another look on a month-to-month basis on what next hurricane season could look like. And also we'll get a closer analysis of what's forming up for us down here in the Gulf Coast, in the southeast, and what's taking shape for the northeast. And yeah, that's going to be the rest of the week. You know, I don't think I'm going to do a video tomorrow. I might. I don't know if I'm going to do it, though. Today's video is a big old flop, so probably not going to do a video. Maybe. You know, I don't know. We'll see. I'm a big creature of habit, so maybe I like the punishment, and I'll make another video. But yeah. Alrighty, folks. Thank you very much for joining us. This season has a high ACE score. 2024 has an even higher ACE score from what I'm seeing. I've been seeing I need to make an X Twitter. I don't like saying X. X sounds like, I don't know who thought that was a good idea. It just sounds like the start of an adult website. Like, why did they think we're going to make it X.com? Like, you know how many people have probably messed that up and gotten in trouble at work or something like that? But I'm going to still call it Twitter. I do need to make a Twitter. And, oh, Matthew, F-150, before you leave, I spoke with Robert again, and he has my resume, and we're going to look at hopefully facilitating something with National Weather Service next year or National Hurricane Center. But he has all my information, and he sounded very inviting when we spoke today. He gave me a lot of really good information, so for the rest of you guys who are unaware of this, I've been talking with a liaison from National Weather Service Miami, as well as National Hurricane Center, and I'm working feverishly to intern with one of those departments next year, a paid internship. We'll see what happens. So I need all of your positive prayer support and all the blessings possible from God to hopefully make this come true and move through, knock on wood, with possibly hitting an internship next year with National Weather Service or NHC. And the best part was, Matt, if you're still there, is Robert said that if I can land the internship once I do get my degree, it's a no competition kind of a job sort of position, essentially. He told me that anytime you want to apply for a National Weather Service, I think I lost him. He hasn't said anything. Anyways, guys, very promising opportunity. Lord willing, it'll continue to unfold. He basically told me there you are. You're still there. He basically told me via email that if I do land one of the internships, it's without a doubt, once I do have my meteorology degree, it's a no competition clause. They see my application, I'm hired on the spot. So, we'll see. We'll see. I can become one of the official sources as opposed to just an armchair amateur like some people say. So, Lord willing, I'm going to be praying about that every single day, and I need you guys to join me along with that, because that would mean so much, not only to me, but to the rest of my family and my parents especially, who have seen me since I was a little tyke doing the weather on TV and on the camera and all that. So, Lord willing, we will see what happens. It'd be the biggest blessing. I'll say one of the biggest blessings in my lifetime, because there's already been so many. You guys are a blessing. My family's a blessing for sure. So, but anyways, just want to let you know that, Matt, since I haven't been able to message you on Instagram. And now the rest of you guys, you know that as well. So we'll see what happens. Maybe next year, as hurricane season rolls in, you'll be tuning into an official source for your weather information as opposed to a non-official source. And before we wrap up the stream, also, speaking of elevating the channel, we do have some big changes coming. I have my green screen. I have my green screen, and I have my stand. And I got a couple other things in the background coming in so I can revamp this weather center and start doing stand-up briefings and doing way more officialized videos for you guys. So the live streams, like I'd mentioned before, are still going to be sitting, talking head. Actual weather center segments are going to be on the green screen, doing something way more professional looking, and I'm super stoked to learn how to edit those videos and provide you guys with very professional looking content. So we'll see. It's in the works. Maybe that's why we'll slowly but surely start slowly but surely trend down the videos for now while I make these revisions, get everything set up, clear out this backspace, and have the green screen positioned where it needs to be, and get in front of the camera so you guys can see a lot more of me. And when I do my funky hand gestures and whatnot, and the robot, you can see more of that on the green screen. So yeah, lots of things moving around, and we will see what happens. But thank you very much for the $12.92 worth of donations. The $13 I'll round up. You're funding the green screen setup and all the revisions we're going to be making here for the Weather Center. Are you thinking of getting a PC? If you're talking a computer, then yeah, I'm using my i5 desktop right now. I actually upgraded this and whatnot, have a company and then hire video editors. I am a video editor. Well, shoot, PM, if we ever elevate this channel to the point where we can get up amongst the big leagues, you're definitely more than welcome to jump on board as one of my day one subscribers and help with editing and passing along any tips. Because Lord knows, as hopefully as these this content grows, it's going to be a slow and steady crawl over the next couple of months, but especially next hurricane season, with as fast as we blew up this hurricane season, when in reality there wasn't a whole much happening, I might need to take on a remote person or two and help with editing and all that. So I'll definitely keep that in mind. And I'm still open to that collaboration we kind of floated around. I think it was last week or the week before, where we can kind of do a video or a storm chase or something like that, if we get anything in this area. How close are we? I'd have to talk to my little brother about that. He's very good about upgrading all those internal components. I've been meaning to do a processor upgrade on this computer just as we continue to do more live streams and edit even more content, especially once I get the green screen and everything up and running. I'd love to learn from an official meteorological source on YouTube. I'd love to support the channel. I could be a part or full-time editor, paid, of course. Oh, well, yeah, of course. Once we get to that point, I'm going to be looking to you guys for help and support from a remote location to help continue to keep this channel afloat. Right now, we're a one-man shop, and sometimes it does get very intense. I just, we're not big enough to go into, we're not big enough to get to that level. But that is the long-term goal. And Nomad Cat 4, when I do get my meteorology degree, I will technically be an actual meteorological source. I just don't have it yet. We're about a year or two away, and I'm working feverishly to get that done, not only for me, but for you guys as well. So we're getting close, and more educational material to come. But anyways, Ethan, thank you for that extra $1 donation, buddy. I do appreciate that. Once again, going right back into this channel, and I can't wait to unveil the big upgrades maybe before Christmas rolls in. I'm going to be looking at using some different editing software as well, getting off of CapCut, so that way hopefully I can expedite the editing process and get more involved with the chroma key editing that I'm going to need to be doing for that for that green screen. But yeah, changes are coming, even though the channel is a little stagnant as we speak. But I still love all you guys, all of my day one folks. It's been an absolute joy up until this point, and it will continue to be a joy as we continue through the winter time and start doing some preliminary forecasting for next hurricane season, because that's when we're really going to have things to hype up. But all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and cut the stream. If I learn how to edit, I'll 100% work for you. Aw, shucks. You guys are awesome. I can definitely do graphics. I enjoy making graphics. There you go. How close are we? PM, stick around, please. Definitely stick around, because I'm going to keep you guys in my back pocket in terms of if and when this channel does get above 50 some odd thousand subscribers, maybe even more than that if the Lord's willing to bless us with that kind of a profit. I definitely would not mind floating you guys some cash per video as the revenue goes up on the channel. That'd be wonderful, actually. I think that's an excellent way to give back to you guys for sticking around as long as you have, and I truly mean that. We'll see what happens. Not anytime soon, unfortunately, but we'll see. But yeah. I'm going to go ahead and cut the live stream. Forgive me if I'm ignoring anybody. I'm just going to keep my eyes closed, because if I keep looking at the chat, I'm going to keep talking. We're now 13 minutes over the stream, but lots of big updates coming soon, and I'm very excited to roll them out to you guys. Hard at work here in the Weather Center and off the screen as well. Lots to talk about over the next couple of months. We have a lot to go over, a lot to digest, and a lot of new changes coming, and it'll be exciting for all of us. But anyways, folks, we'll see you on Wednesday. If I do make a video tomorrow, you'll obviously know first about it. I just might do a short video. At this point, I'm so built into that grind. What's a short video going to do? It's not going to kill me. So might see you tomorrow. More than likely will. Small chance you won't, but either way, we'll see you again on Wednesday for sure. Thank you all for watching. Thank you tremendously for the donations tonight. Going right back into this channel, I can promise you that. And we'll see you again soon. Until next time, this is Weather Center Nazario, signing out.